Welcome everyone to the Hot Corner. This is Brandon. I am joined here with my co-host Mikey and Danny. This is the first episode. We're here just to do a few discussions. But first, let me tell you what this is gonna be about. Our main purpose is to talk about baseball, everything baseball news, anything that's gonna break. We're gonna have it for you. We're gonna react to it. We're gonna have live discussions, anything, and you guys could suggest any topics you guys want to us in the comments down below. And make sure we're gonna upload weekly. We're gonna try to do 2 days a week. I don't know, maybe one, but for now, yeah. But for now, we're gonna try our best to upload once a week. So bear with us. We really love baseball, so we're gonna try our best, to push this forward. Talk about us, to introduce ourselves a few. My name is Brandon. I am a Red Sox fan. I grew up watching baseball. My dad introduced me to it. And I'm Dominican too. Could say kind of runs in the blood.
Oh my
God.
Bro,
even though I don't play though, but
we're gonna start off on the wrong foot already. Oh man, listen, you're outnumbered, buddy.
Yeah. So, Mikey, you want to introduce yourself?
Well, I'm wearing a Mets hat, but I'm a Yankees fan.
Yeah,
I love baseball. So I could watch 162 games a year plus playoffs. But
Yes,
I even sit there and watch Red Sox games, even though they suck. But yeah, that's it. I'll be wearing different type of hats, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Gonna take shots in the first episode, huh? All right. Let's see. All right, Danny.
Yeah, I can't afford to take any shots at anybody, bro, because the fact of the matter is that the unfortunate fact about me being a Miami Marlins fan is that we have to endure the pain of unfortunately having some people that don't directly or indirectly like the Marlins, but it almost seems like we're going in the right direction. So that's thanks to my boy Jeter.
So we're gonna go by predicting each team from the division. Let's start with the AL East, guys. What do you think, Mike?
Yankees all the way, baby. Yankees all the way.
I saw that flying off the wall. You didn't even have to get into that.
Well, I think the Rays will still come in second place. I think the Red Sox still have a very good team, even though they released Mookie Betts. Well, not released. They traded away for. I like Verdugo, but they traded him away from.
I'm not too sure about that.
I think they're gonna have. You know what? They have a diamond in the rough in Verdugo, bro, because that dude is nice. That guy can play.
He's not Mookie Betts, though.
He's not Mookie Betts, but Verdugo was a rookie last year. So I mean, he's still. And Mookie Betts is already a proven veteran. You gotta.
And he has his ring.
Opportunity. You have to give him an opportunity.
Yeah. Danny, what do you think about the AL East?
The AL East is always competitive. Right? At least the top three teams. Which in recent history it's been a three-headed monster. It's been the Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, and the Rays, which surprisingly are always decent. For some reason, they're always decent. They're competitive. They play hard. They play the game that was supposed to be played. And they stay in the mix. Last year, I think they made the playoffs. So. It's really up for grabs, and I don't know if you guys know, they're thinking about changing the playoff format in 2 years, I believe, to add another wild card team, which is kind of weird, and that's kind of off the topic too. But it's a three-headed monster over there, and it's up for grabs. To me, it's up for grabs. The Boston Red Sox really are not expected to do as good as previous years, but
at least not even compete.
You never know. I mean, the Boston Red Sox is always a quality organization, and they know how to coach their players. So who knows? Now the strongest team in the American League East, without a doubt, is the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
And you can't count them out. And now they had the addition of Cole, which should be a good addition for them in the rotation. And that has Severino. That has help me out
tightness in the forearm right now.
Oh, jeez. That guy can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But, well, I mean, when he's healthy, he's good. You know?
Paxton's out.
I mean, at least in the
Injury
regular
right now.
season. So,
Yeah, but you still gotta think of it. I mean, those guys are gonna be hurt for long.
And I mean, the fact that the Yankees were able to are still able to keep their team that they've been going to the playoffs with, and add a vet, and an ace like Garrett Cole is, I don't see any other team even coming close to them. I think, and again, this is coming from a Red Sox fan. I think they're the team to beat. They're by far leaps and bounds ahead of everyone.
He's real quick though. If you really look at it, you got Severino out right now. He's gonna be taking about 3 to 4 weeks out, with Paxton missing 5 to 6 weeks. Yankee model is to have the next man up. You have I forget some of the names, Kaseka, or
You probably messed that name up.
yeah, I think so.
Sorry,
too.
Kaseka or whoever it is that you're talking about.
Well, there's so many pitchers that were brought up during the season that can easily go into the rotation and help the Yankees out for the next couple of weeks. You can also bring Chad Green in from the relief role, put him in a position, maybe fourth starter, just to kill a couple of weeks and have him start that way. But
And again, you got to think of it this way. We've played 3 spring training games. So I mean, these guys got hurt early. So the fact that they got hurt early actually helps them out, where they can rehab during spring training and be ready to go, or if not, be ready to go a couple of weeks after or a month after or whatever, so that it's not going to hurt them in the long run, and they can come back when they're actually doing something
exactly.
for a playoff push.
Let's move on to
I was just gonna say that we got a long
the
list.
American League Central. Mikey, who do you think is the team of the Central?
American League Central?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's always a toss-up in that division. You kind of never know.
Can Minnesota do what they did last year?
Can anybody compete with Minnesota though in that division? Can anybody compete in that division against Minnesota?
You have the Indians.
I mean, there's a lot of talk with the White Sox now, but we've seen how many how many teams have we seen that have acquired, so many pieces to only it failed. We just gotta see. It's just a waiting game, That's why this season is exciting too, because I think there was a lot of moves made by a lot of teams. So I don't know with the Central. Again, it's always a toss-up.
Who did Chicago get in transactions? I know they got Edwin.
Grandal.
Grandal. I said Gurriel. Sorry, Grandal.
Okay.
Which they made a big deal about it, by the way, like on Twitter and
Yasmani Grandal.
Yeah.
like it blew up like on Twitter and.
Okay.
Which I don't know what position you actually have him coming in, because I will say this though, James McCann had a very great year.
Yeah,
he was my catcher in fantasy baseball, so I know he has
good numbers.
Yeah, he did. I'm actually gonna.
There's,
look him up
what, that is a position that is not as admired by a lot of people, and people aren't enamored by the catching position. But it's a position that nowadays you're starting to see guys that are more athletic. That you're starting to see a lot of more switch hitting catchers. Which Yasmani Grandal, by the way, is a switch hitting catcher, and he's got power from both sides. He's not special to me. He's just he's very I would say he's above average, but he's not like super. He's not like a great player.
So I'm guessing we're agreeing that Minnesota has the American League Central.
It's a two race.
I mean, Cleveland.
Race.
I guess Cleveland is always that one team, but I just never trust Cleveland. And
they've diminished in pitching.
Yes.
They've diminished in pitching.
Every season since they went to the World Series, their team has just been.
And that's gonna be a team that's gonna struggle to keep Lindor. I personally think that after this season, Lindor's gone. That's just me. And Lindor,
he is gonna get paid.
Oh, absolutely, he's gonna get paid.
Well, hopefully he can stay healthy too, because he's one of my favorite players to watch. He's electric, all around player.
Yep.
Yeah. The guy plays good baseball.
That's right. And you can't compare him. He's by far the best shortstop in the game. By far.
Are you sure that's what you thought? What happened to your boy Angelton? Come on.
No.
You can't bail on Simmons like that.
No. So we're talking about all around baseball player.
Okay,
As
okay,
a whole,
okay,
he's
got it.
by
Yeah,
far.
yeah, yeah.
He does it all. Home runs, steals,
No, Anderson Simmons is a beast with the glove, bro. That guy's a magician.
animal.
He's a beast with the glove. But
Which by
he's
far,
always.
I think the Braves made a bad decision by trading
Yeah,
him.
me too. Me too. You know, and then they got
The
Dansby
Braves will be
Swanson.
fine. They're good organization. They could find anyone, and
You got Swanson.
they always find ways to win.
Yeah.
You're right. They always find ways to win.
not the big games though.
But Anderson Simmons has always struggled with that. You know, he's not a guy that's gonna light up the board with with power or anything like
He's
that.
he's a solid player.
He's a contributor.
Yep.
He's not a guy that's gonna wow you outside of his glove skills because the dude's amazing balls. You know.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Now we have the West.
I'm picking the Houston Astros, baby. I'm picking the Houston Astros.
I mean, go ahead, Mikey.
You can say what you want to say about cheating and all that, but Altuve's been hitting this way since he came up into the league.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I'll be honest with you, Reddick, I've never seen him hit the way he hit in the playoffs because that guy's, I wouldn't say terrible because he made it to the big leagues, but he is not somebody that hits the way he hit in the playoffs. If you go back the last 3 years with the Houston Astros, he didn't do anything in the playoffs. And then this past season, he had an outstanding playoff run.
I personally thought before when I used to discuss a lot of baseball with my dad, which by the way was the person that introduced me to baseball, great baseball guy. And I used to have conversations with him about the Marlins. The Marlins were looking for a second baseman, and instead of going after Altuve, they went after D. Gordon, which it's a fine. It's an okay pick. It's fine. You know, D. Gordon is a great basketball player. He's a great second baseman. No, he plays basketball. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great second baseman. But me,
he's better off.
I think he would have been a great addition to the Marlins when the Houston Astros were struggling at the time, and we're losing back-to-back 100 loss seasons, and I was like Pops, that guy would be really good with the Marlins. You can get him on the cheap, and then the Marlins to a certain point aren't really afraid to spend money, especially if the guy comes and lights it up in Miami. He's gonna get paid by Miami. So we were talking about this not too long ago when in the conversation that we were having in the parking lot at church when we were talking about that. I was like, this guy was putting up these kind of numbers before this whole alleged I forget what they call the cheating thing from the front office. What was the name that they dubbed that? I forget what the name of the software. What they named the software.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking.
Yeah, before that actually came to be part of the Astros organization, Altuve was lighting it up. So, everybody says, well, he was telling his guys not to take his shirt off, and we're getting back on a flipping topic. But then again, I mean, it was like, oh, he went back to the dugout and went down and
and changed his shirt.
Yeah, but can you prove that he had something on his body? That's just an allegation. It's not. There's no proof. It's just speculation. I was like, oh, he had something on his body. That's why he didn't want to take off his shirt. Maybe he had a dad bod, and he didn't want to take off his shirt. Like, hey, Pete Alonso, listen, I love you, bro. Keep your shirt on. You need to do what Altuve just did. All right, you got serious dad bod.
Yeah, but I think we can all agree with the AL West. Houston, even without the cheating, as a baseball fan, you can't deny that they have talent all around the board. They're hitting and they're pitching. They're just a good overall team.
But the Angels got better too.
Yeah.
The Angels got a lot better, and you can't take Seattle out of the equation.
I don't think Atlanta's going to win the division. I think it's either between the Mets or the Phillies winning the division. Anytime you add a World Series champion coach in Joe Girardi, add a good shortstop in Didi Gregorius, you add a good second baseman because now you're switching over Segura to second base. And then I don't know what McCutcheon can bring. He's no longer an MVP candidate, but you still have the Phillies. Joe Girardi's a beast when it comes to bullpen help. You have David Robertson coming out for a full season. but I think the Mets win the division. I think Rojas is going to have a good. He's going to run a good team.
Listen, the NL
And
East.
Cespedes will be a candidate for the MVP of the year. I'm calling it now.
Who?
Cespedes.
Yeah, he's gonna be the MVP.
I didn't say he's gonna be the MVP. I said he will be a candidate. He'll be a top 5 candidate for MVP in the NL.
You know, they actually asked him. They said between 1 through 10, what do you categorize yourself? He's like, I'm a 12.
Yeah.
No, you're a negative 12. Okay.
You got
paid all that money.
Be on the field.
Listen, you got paid exactly. You got paid all that money.
Yep.
And you have yet to produce for the New York Mets. That's sad. On top of that, you have a subpar glove. You know, because a lot of people, you have great arm. Great arm. I've seen it. I've seen when he was Oregon Athletics and you threw it from the fence in the air to home plate. You have a great arm. Your glove isn't that good. Okay? Second of all, he's got to stay healthy. The guy cannot stay off the IL. He can't.
Even if we know, injuries aren't their fault, but if you're going to be in the discussion and say to yourself that you're amongst the top of the game, you have to be on the field.
How?
Have to be on the field.
What tells me as a casual fan or as a super fan or as a front office executive that you are worthwhile paying anymore? What tells me that? You say you're a 12. Yeah, show me you're a 12. Don't tell me that you're a 12 because then what that's gonna do is make me mad. It's like that one kid is like, mommy, you know. Sheesh.
Who do you have winning the NL East, Danny?
The Miami Marlins bit. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, we're on a rebuild. Watch out for the fish. I don't think it's gonna happen this year. Nobody expects them to do all that great this year. I don't think they're gonna lose 100 games. Jesus. But bro, listen, I'm gonna have to agree with Mike. I think that there are teams that are gonna do a lot better than they did last year. I'm not so sure about the rotation of the New York Mets. Outside of their front 2 guys, there's 3 or 4 guys battling for the last 3 spots. They added Rick Porcello.
Yes.
Okay, that's a huge add. Okay, Steven Matz is still in the mix. And they have another. Pull up the Mets.
The Mets picked up somebody else outside of Rick Porcello. I think they added.
Just pull it up, dude.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Oh my god! Yeah, let me pull it up.
Well, I actually have the Phillies actually winning. I think this year they'll actually step up their game.
They could.
They got Stroman. They got Stroman too. I forgot about Marcus Stroman.
And Dylan Betances for the bullpen.
I mean, we're talking about the rotation, bro. You always come out with like some random.
Anytime you add a guy who comes from a winning tradition in Dylan Betances,
here we go.
You're gonna have
New York homer.
And I'm telling you, he's gonna live up to expectations in New York.
Listen, he's
been in New York.
Listen, you don't have to say, oh well,
he's been in New York, but hasn't been.
Okay, so
Michael Wacha, there you go.
Michael Wacha is the other guy.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, Steven Matz should be shaking in his boots, because he's on his way out. If he does not perform well in the spring training, he's gonna be out. They got Michael Wacha, Rick Porcello,
Mets have a lot of options.
I mean, you got the top 2 big dogs, Syndergaard and DeGrom. Are you kidding me? That right there on his own. You said the Phillies. I'd be scared of that rotation by itself. Forget about the power. And they have Jeff McNeil. They still have Pete Alonso.
Davis is pretty good too.
Nimmo,
if he could stay healthy.
Mike Conforto. If he could stay healthy.
I will say this though. I have the Mets losing the division. As if you have conversations more with us, we have a good friend named Raymond. He is a huge Met fan, and his favorite player is Familia.
Man, shut up!
Wow.
I have them losing the division if they keep putting him out there in critical moments. If you have people on base, Familia is not the guy. So I think Rojas is going to do a good job. I don't think he's going to put Familia down there. I think Edwin Diaz is going to have a bounce back year, but Familia needs to be traded with I think Nimmo and Steven Matz. You could get something very. You can get a good piece for all three of those guys.
Listen, man, the way that Familia has struggled, and I know he kind of picked it up a little bit towards the end of the season last year. Excuse me. The way that Familia has been struggling, there's really no team that's gonna make a serious push for a guy like Familia due to the fact that he can't get it together.
Oakland did. He did good with Oakland.
Well, I mean,
we're gonna be moving on. All right. National League Central. Mike,
I couldn't wait to talk about this actually because I've been following up with the Reds. I'm being completely 100. I'm being 100 with you. I've been keeping up with them just because of the simple fact that they added 2 new starters. You added Wade Miley, and then they added last season, halfway through the season, they added Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is no longer a 1 or 2. I think he strikes out a lot of people, but he also gives up the long ball.
Yep.
Sonny Gray had a great year. Of course, you have Iglesias that's still the closer.
Julio Iglesias?
No,
Rugnan?
whatever his name is. You know. You also picked up Mike Moustakas.
That was a
if
good
I'm
pickup.
saying
That was a
the
good
name
pickup.
right.
Yeah.
For he's actually playing second base because you still have Sanchez or Suarez. Suarez.
Where do you go off saying that he's gonna play second base?
No, he is. Suarez is the third baseman. They signed him. They signed him to play second base.
Maybe he's gonna be DH.
No, it's the National League. But you in the mix in the outfield, it's gonna be very tricky because they signed. Who did they sign for the outfield position? Nicholas Castellanos.
That was also a good pickup.
Yes.
Good pickup.
Anytime you add an all-star.
He was also on the Marlins radar for a while.
Yep. Nicholas Castellanos, who went to the Cubs last season and had great numbers behind good players. I think he batted second.
They have a good overall solid team. Let's see if
Do we write off the Milwaukee Brewers though?
No.
Why?
They still got a good team. They still have a very good team. Although they should have been there over the Nationals if Yelich wasn't hurt, because that right fielder made that terrible play. Yelich wouldn't have made that type of play. That was bad.
Okay. Fair enough.
So you have them on that list. You have the St. Louis Cardinals winning division. On the predictions.
MLB.
So MLB, the projections for MLB has the St. Louis Cardinals, and by the way, nobody as a first place team in the National League is predicted to win over 100 games, which is
or even 90.
I think
Dodgers will.
We're talking about the Central.
You literally took took the words out of my mouth, and that I think perhaps that's the most insane prediction I've ever, because you look, who won the World Series last year?
But I think MLB is going more off who's been consistent over all these years, finding a way to win ball games.
Listen,
I mean, has been the Cardinals for the last how many years? They've been in the mix a lot.
How many wins do you have them jotted down there, or MLB has them jotted down to winning?
88.
88 wins for the first place team in the National League Central, which, by the way, I think is going to be a very good division. I personally believe that the National League East is the most competitive, but the Central is not that far behind. I mean, they have the Cardinals, now the Cincinnati Reds in the mix.
Well, you can't take away the West either.
No, we're not talking about the West. We're talking about the Central.
Yes, but you also said competitive is the East. You have the West too.
I mean, the Dodgers have been a clear cut. Like, there's been no competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Arizona added Calhoun.
Listen, San Diego can add.
Who again?
Isn't it Calhoun?
No. What team?
The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Exactly.
What? They're still good. They added Marte.
No.
They added Bumgarner.
No one's beating the Dodgers.
No, of course. I'm not saying
Bro,
they're beating the Dodgers.
listen. Check this out. The Rockies play in possibly the best hitters park in baseball and still can't win anything.
Nolan Arenado, baby.
And by the way, they have them them slide it down as
Fourth.
winning the being in fourth place.
That's ridiculous.
With 72 wins and 90 losses.
They just don't have pitching.
San Francisco Giants are going to be terrible again for the mere fact that and answer this for me, guys, and maybe you can leave a comment below. It might be an annoying question for me. I don't care what you think anyway. But why do we keep recycling fired managers? And baseball is
That's
not
a
the only
good
ones
point.
that do that. The NFL does that. The NBA does that. If you got fired from a position, unless it wasn't your fault, and they just fired you because they had it in for you, and you got fired because you were incompetent in the job that you were doing, like the guy from the Phillies that just got hired, I want to say by San
Gabe
Francisco.
Clapper was a good. Gabe. What was his name again?
Who cares?
Gabe.
He got fired from his job in his first season.
I forget his name.
Who cares?
No,
Listen, who cares? Okay, at the end of the day, a good manager is not a guy that comes out and screams at umpires. Okay, and I personally think that with the team that they had last year, they underachieved, severely underachieved. Okay, and part of it, unfortunately, you have to put your big boy pants on. It's on the manager.
I agree with that.
But anyway, back to the Central. Who?
Giants will have a worse season than the Marlins, by the way.
Fair enough.
Predicting that right now.
Fair enough. Back to the Central real quick before we go to the last division that we're gonna speak about.
I was just saying, look, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Cincinnati Reds, and the St. Louis Cardinals are gonna be competing for 1 and 2. One with
Who's your pick? Who's your pick though?
my pick. I think right now, you know what? I want to
Betting
see.
your money.
I want to see a good race down the stretch between St. Louis Cardinals and Milwaukee Brewers. Is it far fetched? Probably. I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers lost some pieces too, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost.
They lost Moustakas.
They lost one of their Jeffries. One of their relief arms.
Yeah, he's really good.
But you add Jericho. If I'm saying that right, I'm sorry if I'm.
Jericho.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, Jed Jericho.
Healy, he's probably gonna play first base or third base.
Brock Holt.
He's utility. That guy's a stud though.
He's a good
player.
guy to
Justin
have on your
Smoke's
bench.
He's a good scrappy player.
Healy will be playing third base and Justin Smoke be playing first base. And they also traded away for some good pieces, Eric Sogard to the Tampa Bay Rays last year. So he comes back and he's another second baseman that they could use because I think that they'll probably use Brock Holt as super utility, which
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and tell you that I'm gonna pick the Milwaukee Brewers.
Okay. How about you, Mikey?
I was gonna say the Cubs if they had Joe Madden, but they added a best friend with John Lester, David Ross, which I think is a terrible idea. So I'm gonna go with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Why is it a terrible idea?
I don't think friendship and coaching go well together. I think it'll be.
It brings some type.
Yeah.
Either way, it will bring some type of. I mean, not
You
that
think it'll bring friction?
I think it will. It's like me being your boss at work and letting you
It
go
can.
home early
It's
and
a
not
possi-
letting my other guys.
Not
go
that it's a
home.
guarantee, but it's a possibility.
I don't think that's gonna affect.
I think it will.
anything.
I think it will.
All right, guys. How about we're gonna be talking about the last division, the NL West.
That's a one horse race right there, bro.
Yes.
If Colorado could get some pitching, I think they're going to be fantastic.
Can you think of a more powerful outfield right now than the Dodgers?
Yes, Colorado.
I disagree.
I disagree
mean,
too.
You have Bellinger,
Okay.
regular season Bellinger,
Mookie Betts,
Again,
If he could stay healthy.
and Jock Peterson.
Jock Peterson's with the Angels. He got traded.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, so he got traded.
So
Dang,
right now
when
they
did
don't.
that happen?
So who's the right fielder for? Oh, my
Okay.
boy.
Kike Hernandez?
No, Kike is a super
No.
utility.
Oh.
He came from the Diamondbacks this past season. Oh, guys.
Pollock? AJ Pollock?
AJ Pollock. There you go. Dude's a beast.
Yeah,
Dude's a beast.
that outfield is really.
If another guy who
It's
could
a
stay,
good
if he
outfield.
stays healthy,
It's a good outfield, man. It's a really good outfield. They have a good, solid infield. You know, and and Ed Sheeran's cousin, and this
Blackman?
Seager, and
Black
Charlie?
the third baseman. He's
Oh,
isn't
Nolan
that-
Arenado?
No.
Oh, Justin Turner.
Yeah, Justin Turner. Isn't that Ed Sheeran's cousin? or something?
Dodgers.
Isn't he related to Ed Sheeran?
Yeah, wouldn't Justin Turner and Blackman kind of look alike? If Blackman dyed his beard orange.
There's talks about the Dodgers
Not
getting
at all, but that's pretty
Francisco
funny,
Lindor, by
actually.
the way.
Francisco Lindor.
I mean, yeah, that's been
from what I
that's
hear,
been
they got deep
circulating
pockets.
for like 2 years now
Yeah, but you could also
for a
move.
trade. But I think,
Who's the second baseman for the Dodgers right now?
I mean, but they're trying to win now. They're not gonna give. They just gave. Look what they got. I mean, who else can they give? And with that,
Bro,
I
listen,
just don't under. I
Those
just don't see
those
them.
type of you're not gonna sit here and tell me that their farm system is depleted.
Oh no,
It's not depleted. I mean,
it's not.
it's
But
it's.
what are
it's
they
gotta
willing to
be.
give up? They have to give up. I mean, Lindor he's going to be a 1 year rental.
It's gotta.
I mean, but then again, they are going for it all again.
I would almost
for the
assume
4th year straight.
I would almost assume that if the Indians are not in the running for anything, they'll trade Lindor.
I don't think so.
No, not for just 1 year and then.
You got to be able to keep seats or people coming to the seats, and I think the only thing that's keeping the people in the seats is Francisco Lindor.
I was just about to say the seats are bolted down to the ground, so they're gonna keep him regardless.
Max Muncy playing first base. I think they could probably move him to second and bring in somebody, maybe a team that's not in contention,
But I mean, what else can
Like
they
the
have?
Chicago
I
White
mean,
Sox.
I mean,
or
you have.
the Chicago Cubs. They could bring Rizzo in there.
But speaking about that,
Oh no, he's not leaving it, bro.
the Dodgers are
Never know.
loaded, though, and they always have been loaded. They just can never.
After the Red Sox traded away Mookie Betts, you cannot say that everybody is safe on any team. Nobody is safe. You trade away your franchise player and Mookie Betts, I think that anybody will trade anybody.
Apparently, he's not their franchise player because he's gone.
Well, he was.
True. Face.
Now, who do you
Face
think?
of the franchise.
I mean, Benintendi.
And then these teams wonder why it is that these guys want these guaranteed contracts, these big money. I mean, and on top of that, you gotta see how kind of the struggle is real with these guys. A lot of these married guys that have kids and and that are married, they have to relocate their whole family. You know what I'm saying? And if you're
a lot
told,
of people don't think about that.
Exactly. And if you're told constantly, yo, you're a franchise player, man, you're our dude, you're at this, and all of a sudden, you see on Twitter, oh, Mookie Betts gets traded to the Dodgers, that's just saying.
Yeah, I think that's one of the worst ways to find out.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's not gonna happen like that. But I'm just, I'm just saying.
Some guys.
Yes. but then you get traded, and you have to relocate. You know what? And then you're just like, yo, the next organization I'm gonna get to, I'm gonna stick it to them. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're gonna trade me, then somebody's gonna owe me some money, and I don't care where you go ahead and trade me now. Now you can trade me wherever you want, but somebody's gonna be paying $300 plus or whatever it is that they're going to be paying.
By the way, I want to correct myself. Jock Peterson did not get traded. It says here Jock Peterson returned to the team that he never left.
Right, that was because the deal
was broken.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Wow, so they still got to keep Jock.
Yeah, and
And he's gonna be on the bench though, but
I knew that the whole time.
Or he's gonna be interchanging.
I knew
But
that
he
the whole
started
time.
playing first base though last season.
True.
So Max Muncy can go to second, and now you have
That lineup. That lineup is stacked.
That's stacked.
Jock Peterson's a playoff beast, by the way.
That's stacked, bro. And then you got what's that guy Chris? Whatever that little scrappy dude.
Chris Taylor.
Chris Taylor.
Another super utility. You got Kike, super utility.
Yeah, Kike.
Chris Taylor came out big in the World Series.
Yes, he did.
Years, yeah.
Yes, he did.
In the absence of Corey, yeah.